I was buying it all. I was buying it all because all y'all was giving it up. So thank you very much for your service.
Subscribe the channel.
We could be everything, anything that we see we could be. We could be everything that we want.
I was recently reading all of the articles and commentary around Fashion Week and looking at what editors were saying was going to be out and the things that would be in. And it really got me to thinking, do fashion editors actually know what they're talking about, or have they just become skilled at pattern recognition? There is this article that was on Who What Wear, and the title of the article was Fashion Editors Agree. These dated trends won't make it to spring 2026. And I started going through this list of trends, okay? And the funny thing about all of these trends, for the most part, is back when these were really trending, these were deemed as timeless pieces that everybody should have in their wardrobe. For example, the long line structured vests, according to Who What Wear, should be put on pause, and silky, colorful button downs should replace them instead. Now, there's no reason that is explicitly stated for why this is the case, but the verbiage surrounding this article is basically framed as a bunch of fashion editors who got together and started talking. A lot of opinions started flying around, and then minds started to be changed. And that really begs the question of, is the trend cycle run on purely opinion and who is the most convincing, or is there something deeper attached to it? I recently did a deep dive on a lot of the things that are trending right now and the last time they were trending. And what I came to find is that the political and social climate is typically the one common denominator behind certain things that are trending at any given time. And so with that being at the forefront of my mind and me looking at all of these trends and what people are saying is going to be in and what's going to be out, it's starting to give cycle. Okay, it's starting to give cycle, and not all cycles are something that we should be repeating. I do want to say I am somebody who loves the fact that trends always come back, because I do feel like there are certain trends that I will wear time and time again, and just certain things that are a forever love of mine. So when I see it make a comeback, it's a sense of like gratification that I get, that I'm like, yeah, that was always that one. Y'all just are realizing it again now, you know? But more than that, it really begs the question about trends in general and how much weight we should actually put on them. Getting back to this article, and really this could be found in any article, so this is not to target this one specific article, but these are the trends that are supposedly making their way out and the trends that are supposedly making their way in. First trend making its way out, the structured button-down vest that everybody said we needed. It's a staple, it's timeless, it's the quiet luxury, it's all the things, right? What's making its way in? Button-down silky blouses. Now, if you have been around for any length of time, you know I am an avid thrifter. I love thrifting. I thrift most of my wardrobe or buy it secondhand. And the reason I do that is because fashion has a tendency to bore me. I don't really like always shopping for what everybody else has. It's not that I don't love trends. I do love trends. However, I am aware enough to understand the trends that are going to work for me and the trends that are not. And that's just through experience and living a little bit of life. Okay, I know I look young, but I'm a lot older than you guys think. I have come to realize that there are things I've liked for the last 20 years, and that's not going to change. And I think the older you get, the more you start to realize there are pieces that will always be in your wardrobe because you love them, and it really doesn't matter if it's trending or not. I love a good silk button down. I have an entire rack of 100% silk, colorful, solid colors, bright colors, vibrant colors, dark colors, neutral colors, all the colors, button downs, because I love the way that silk feels on my body. There is not a trend that could tell me not to wear silk. I'm always gonna love silk because silk will stand the test of time, and just scientifically, it's good to have against your body during certain seasons, right? So I don't need a trend to tell me that a silk button down is the thing I should be wearing for spring or summer. It's kind of in my nature to go for automatically lightweight materials like silk when it comes to spring and summer. Very interesting to me because if you paid attention to the fact that you love silk, you love a good silk button down, and that's just part of your personal style, right? You will have a closet full of these things already, and you won't feel this need or this pressure to shop for it because you already have it. It's part of your personal style. It's part of your style ethos, you know? So I find things like this funny because I don't feel the need to run out and get a whole bunch of silk button-ups. I have 1,000 of them in a lot of different colors and prints that you probably would never find today. I have 4 examples right here. This one is Versace, but this is Versace Estante. And this was when Versace did a younger, like more young adult, teenage, I don't even want to say like teenagers buying Versace, you know, but like this was supposed to be the youthful version of Versace. So you cannot really find this anymore. And I'm not likely to see somebody walking down the street in a silk Versace button up like this. You know what I'm saying? But I was able to get this for literal pennies because it wasn't trending and everybody was in their neutral beige phase. This is another one that is more of a recent thrift find, and the thing I find most interesting about this is that it's a peasant style blouse, and while bohemian and indie and like all of those like genres are trending right now, not only do I have a silk top that's super colorful and fits right in, but I paid $5.99 for this because at the time that I got it, nobody was worried about it. I have worn this particular silk button up to the ground. I've had it for at least 10 years and I have worn this so many different ways. I have tied it at the waist, I have tucked it in, I have worn it open, I have folded and flipped this thing and safety pinned it up in so many different silhouettes that it definitely, I've gotten my cost per wear. And I think at the time I got this, I paid maybe $4 or $5 for it, but it's such a cool, very much giving Versace type of vibe silk button up that is now all of a sudden trending, but I've had this for almost 10 years. Last but not least is another really colorful one that's definitely giving 90s, 80s or 90s Saved by the Bell. And again, this is one of those that I absolutely love. It's so fun. It's so freeing to wear colorful fun prints that nobody has because it just really makes you feel like you are putting your stamp on somebody's day as their eye candy, even if it's not necessarily something that they would wear. But again, thrifted this probably 7 years ago when everybody was in their beige phase and they did not want to wear color. This is just one example of how important it is to not necessarily listen to the fashion editors, but really tap into your own style and what you love. The next thing that's supposed to be making its way out is boring accessories, and making its way in is menswear coated ties. Now, I find this one also kind of funny because I have been thrifting ties for years. Gossip Girl did a reboot and I wanted to recreate one of the looks because they were wearing ties, and one of the ties that I was able to thrift was this tie right here, which is a YSL tie. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of hard to see in this lighting, but you can see the logo. This is really cute. I thrifted this when I was doing looks inspired by that show. Another tie that I thrifted was this Burberry checked tie. And then, if you guys can tell by my silk button up collection, I also thrifted this 100% silk, very 80s print tie because I love the print, I love the material, and it was just something I found really cool to layer with chunky, fun necklaces. I just thought it was so cool, and so I started thrifting them. And when I was thrifting ties, they were like 50 cents, 99 cents. And I was able to find some really cool ones because thrift stores were not paying attention to whether or not a tie was designer or not. They got such an influx of ties, they would just take them all and throw them out all together, and you could literally find some of the coolest, highest end silk ties from all kinds of designers. Like they would just all be there for like 50 cents to $1, sometimes $2. And it was nothing to find. But now that we are being told that menswear coated ties are trending, you can imagine the mayhem that is going to happen in the tie section at the thrift store, on the pre-loved market in general. And then like when you go out, you're going to start seeing these things trickle down in Zara, H&M, Aritzia, like all the trending stores. You're gonna start seeing it, and then everybody will be wearing this because they feel like they should, because that's what they were told. When really, if you go back to the trend of workwear in general, what's going on in the political and social climate, when women were feeling like they needed to go back to work because the economy was crashing and you now needed 2 incomes in a household, like everything is kind of cyclical and repeating itself, not only in the sense of fashion, but in the social and economical climate as well. So again, a very interesting take, but these are the patterns that I kind of recognize when I'm reading these articles. The next on its way out is the barrel leg denim, and the making its way in is the cigarette and stovepipe jeans. I don't even know what a stovepipe jean is. I've never heard it called that. I've only ever heard of the cigarette jeans. So the thing about this one is, I told you guys that I felt like cigarette jeans were going to be making a comeback when I started thrifting them, probably about, at this point, a little over a year ago. And I've really ramped it up last year because I started coming across so many cool vintage versions, right? And I knew that this was coming because on the runways, I could see the pants lines start to get slimmer and slimmer and slimmer until eventually, I told you guys recently, skinny jeans are back, whether you like it or not. And I know that a lot of people feel like they can't wear or style skinny jeans in 2026, but I did a whole entire video on styling jeans in 2026 that are skinny, and just different tweaks and alterations you can make to the jeans to make them feel more wearable for you. I definitely will be doing a video coming up on different pants, fits, and silhouettes, because I do feel like if you saw me unload this closet into this cabinetry that I just recently thrifted, then you will know I have so many jeans. I wear so many different silhouettes and styles, and they are all styles that I love, that are part of my personal style, and I will not get rid of them just because somebody says that they're on their way out. I'm just going to find ways to style them that are interesting to me. But I love a good cigarette jean, and because I love a good cigarette jean and I was not shopping for it because somebody told me I should, I was able to secure quite a few at the thrift store that were great brands: Ralph Lauren, Guess, Levi's, even unknown, smaller, lesser vintage brands that are not made anymore. I've been able to find some amazing ones, and they will stay in my closet as long as I can fit them because I love them. And there's so many different ways that you can style them, and you just kind of have to think outside the box. So again, one of those things that it's so interesting to see someone say it's coming back, but if you pay attention to cycles, and more specifically trend cycles, you can literally spot these things coming back a mile away. And by the way, I still love me a barrel jean. I'm going to continue to wear my barrel jeans, okay? I'm not getting rid of my barrel jeans because they said they're going out of style. We're still going to be wearing barrel jeans around here. So I just want to say that. Next, pausing on the trend, lace trims, and what's in is fringe instead. Now, I don't know that I actually agree with this one, because there's the whole like lingerie as outerwear and not under your clothes, and the undergarments being worn on the outside, like, you know, that whole trend that's going on. And I do feel like as long as that's also still a thing, I don't really think lace trims are going anywhere. I think people are just adding to it. For example, I firmly believe the lace trim cami is going to be huge for spring summer, and I think it's going to be even bigger next year, because the last time I really saw lace trim camis was when skinny jeans and cigarette pants were trending, because those silhouettes just go together. And if you pay attention to trend cycles, you start to notice the things that work well together, and if one thing is making its way back, the other thing is making its way back because they are a really good pairing. So I don't think lace trim is actually going anywhere at all, but I do think, and I do see a lot of fringe coming back, but more specifically like suede western boho fringe. That was my alarm. But I do see a lot of like suede western boho fringe coming back for sure. And I could even see like the flappers fringe making its way back as well, depending on how it's designed and if it's really durable. So just, you know, like keep your eye out in the thrift store. If you hop online early on the pre-loved market, whether it be Depop, Poshmark, eBay, the thrift stores, all of these things that you're seeing are supposed to be trending, you still have time to find these things before everybody gets hip to it. And you really just have to get creative and know where to look and how to type in your search engine exactly what you're looking for. That's really the key to finding the best things. Let me know if you guys want me to do a video on how to search online for the best things. This one I saw coming a mile away, but going out is quiet luxury and coming back in is modern glamour. I do find it interesting that they're calling it modern glamour, but honestly, I just think it's maximalism as a whole. People are so tired of just being minimal. I feel like the quiet luxury trend was forcing people who were a slave to trends to tone down who they really were, when really they were a maximalist and they wanted to wear all the things. But because quiet luxury was trending, everybody wanted to like tone down and wear less because they felt like that's what they were supposed to do. And let me just tell you, when all y'all was on the quiet luxury trend, I was buying up all the maximalist, crazy, fun, wild print clothing, jewelry, shoes, bags. I was buying it all. I was buying it all because all y'all was giving it up. So thank you very much for your service. Now that it's making its way back, you still have some time to kind of find those things. But you know, I don't know. I think it's just a trend. Again, when was the last time skinny jeans was trending or cigarette jeans were trending? It's when maximalism was trending, when layered, chunky jewelry and scarves and like glitter and sequin and just all the things was like, they were all trending at the same time. So I'm not really surprised about this one being a thing listed as coming back. This next one says pausing polka dots and then fawn prints coming in. I will say I have seen an influx of this fawn or deer print coming in, and I've seen an influx of cow print. I have a cow print like faux fur mini skirt that I thrifted last year. That's amazing. I have to say, for this particular thing, I feel like animal print is a neutral, period. And I love leopard. However, I love cow print even more. I love the fawn print. So I could totally get on board with this, but I love animal print in general. I love a zebra print. And I just feel like when stuff like this is trending, oh baby, I'm gonna be buying it all up. I'm gonna be buying it all up because I know this is my moment. Okay, this is my moment. I'm gonna try to find the best quality versions of things. And when this inevitably goes out, because you know, things go out, I'm going to hit the pre-loved market and buy at a fraction of the cost all the real good stuff that everybody's getting rid of because it's deemed no longer in style. And I really think that's how you should look at this. Like, don't ever feel like you're gonna miss out on something because, you know, when it's a trend, maybe you can't necessarily afford to get it. If it's really part of your personal style, it doesn't matter if it's a trend or not. You wait till that sucker's on its way out and you buy all the best versions of it. That's how I ended up with 7 Fendi spy bags that have coincidentally been reissued in the last 2 years. But now I have all the vintage ones, all the cool limited edition colors that nobody can find anymore. And I got all of mine for under $1,000, most of them for under $500 if we're keeping it so real, because I was buying it when nobody was thinking about it. So buy the things that you love. Don't worry about if it's a trend or not. And if it's something that's trending that you necessarily cannot afford to buy right now, girl, bid your time. It's gonna eventually be seen as going out of style, and that's gonna be your moment to snap it all up for a fraction of the cost. And when it makes its way back around, as it always inevitably does, you will be able to have the thing that you've always wanted. That concludes this particular article. You can find so many different articles where they are all basically repeating the same thing. It's very obvious that the fashion editors talk, and there is absolutely nothing against them. They are privy to conversations that we don't get to hear until much later. They get to see all of the designs ahead of time, what designers are doing, the street style, and they have the added benefit of the creative collective energy, just being in a room with a bunch of creators and being able to bounce ideas off of each other. So they're always going to have a little bit of a leg up on the general population when it comes to knowing what's going to be trending and what might be making its way out. But don't let that deter you, because again, everything is cyclical. Cycles, good and bad, they always repeat. So if you pay attention to the signs, you will always be able to spot a good cycle cycle, a bad cycle. Hop on if it's something you want to participate in, especially with the good cycles. The bad ones, you can break those when you start to see the trends and the signs coming. More than all of that, you have to listen to yourself. Like, go deep within, go inside your heart, go inside your creativity and everything that you want to express and create and be, and follow that when it comes to trends and what it is you choose to participate in and what you choose to like, because that will always be timeless in your world, because it's truly, authentically, deeply, and innately you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Tell me your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you feel like fashion editors actually know what they're talking about, or do you feel like they're influenced just like the rest of us, and that it's really a matter of just trend cycles doing what trend cycles do, and that's coming and going? I don't know, but I'm very interested to hear your thoughts in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.